Smokies. I think let's just quickly touch on a couple of players that we haven't mentioned already, really, that we think could come out of nowhere and give us an epic score in epic fantasy scores in 2022. So, Harry, do you want to just rip in to the first?
Yep. Will Harrison, first one for me. Injured for a week or two with an AC joint injury. Could play fullback, could play 10. He was the second-ranked fly half last year, and he went 149th for us. So I think he's a very good Smoky. Maybe not the top of the pile, but I think he's a fantastic low-value pick in a lot of drafts. The one that I'm going to go for, the breakthrough Smoky of the year, I'm going to say Devin Flanders, mainly because I'm starting to get the feeling that he might actually start. And if he does start, he's an absolute weapon. And I picked him up as my fourth back rower just in the hope that we kind of got that value out of him. But I actually genuinely believe if he starts, he could be a top 8 back rower, maybe higher, who knows. So very excited to see what he can do.
Sweet.
If I had to go 2 from the Smokies, it's Ethan de Groot. Like, he called out Taniela Tupou. You don't do that without backing it up. So I think he's really got to step up. He needs to show that he can do that week in, week out. And he's also someone that probably didn't get, all his own way last year, had to compete for the starting jersey. I think this year it's pretty much sewn up for him, given he's a All Black now. So if he didn't go early, he probably should. But one of the others, Levi Armour, just music to the ears of people that have him in the fantasy team, hoping that he does well when he ends up getting a crack. But he's just a monster. Like, he's bigger than a lot of the front rowers for other teams, and he's just a wrecking ball when he carries. He's a lot more experienced than he lets on. I think he's 27 or 28 this year. So he's been around a bit. He's done a bit of club rugby, and he's been, I think, in 2 or 3 Super Rugby squads. I think this is a chance for him to really break out and show that, he can mix it with everyone. He just needs to be given the time.
That's it. And he's been part of a few really successful, like, Tasman teams in the last few years, I think. So someone we definitely want to see have a good crack. But do you think Ethan de Groot just got given All Black selection purely on the basis of calling out Taniela Tupou? Do you think they just went, oh, well, if he's got the balls to do that, we'll put him in? But for me, look, we've touched on a few of them before the pod, but Chase Tia, I think everyone can agree, extremely exciting player, was out at the back of the Hurricanes for a while last year. We were really hoping he'd blow onto the scene in a big way at the Chiefs, but really filled that utility back role and just kind of slotted in off the bench. So this year, without Damien McKenzie, he possibly could make that 15 jersey his own. And if he does start getting some major minutes, he's a player who makes some awesome kick returning runs, can just find gaps and whatnot. So could be a huge year for Chase Tia. Similarly, I'm going to pick one more player, Marino Mikaeli-Tu'u, who, again, putting out in the universe in my fantasy team. I think just 2 years ago, was well on his way to being one of the top back rower of the fantasy season, almost. Like, had such huge scores. Last year, they interestingly didn't tell us, but he was kind of just injured throughout all season, which is why he didn't see a lot of game time. And when he did, was not 100% for some reason. So, but he looks back and fit on the park, and hopefully can retake that starting 8 jersey and be the prince that was promised. I'm going to retake that name from Jordan Ulisi and now give that to Marino Mikaeli-Tu'u. So, Any other players we want to touch on in Smokies for the year?
My other one was Napoleone Mbalatha. So should play fullback, I think. Could play a little bit of 10 or 12, but should play fullback potentially all season long in my eyes. But dynamic counter-attacker, which we know is going to be a big part of their game, and can also set up tries, put people through holes, step people, break tackles. He just has a plethora of ways that he can score points. So excited to see how high he can go.
Yep. And what about you, Rev?
I'll throw in Ruben Love. I think the big hindrance for him is he won't be the goal-kicking option of the Hurricanes, but if he starts, he's got such a nice running game. He's so quick. And, with the increase in, try assist being worth 6 points, he's only got to be putting, Peter Mungy-Jensen through a few holes or, getting Rouse out in the wing, and he's, suddenly getting quite a nice score about him. So, Ruben Love jumps up the list quite highly for me.
Absolutely. Just cutouts to Rayasi all day. But no, it's in terms of being a young 10 coming through, like you probably don't have a better opportunity than at the Hurricanes at the moment, Since Bowden's left, they haven't had anyone to lock that jersey down, and we just give Jackson Garden Bachop shit every season. So, we're waiting for him to be replaced, really.